So I touched on this before, and I'm happy to hear that it has been talked about in government circles. Particularly, as I say, about, and I talked about way back a few years ago now at this stage, about people walking, particularly walk experiences. Young people do walk experience now and again to get a taste of maybe what they want to go for or something like that. And that's fair enough, and you'd be like, fair enough. But at the same time, they're still doing the same work as the person that might be there and might be getting paid. And my point is, you probably should be getting a few bob or something small. That's a small thank you for doing work. Again, you're doing free labour. Mainly big companies. Again, I knew people that worked in Dunn's Stores, take for example, Superfire. I never got a penny out of them. And they're big companies and they can well afford to pay somebody. If you bob, I'm not saying they could give them €1 billion or something like that. A few bob, a bit of appreciation again. That's the thing. Especially if you get somebody working for free, it's a bit of appreciation. It's nice, and I'm happy to hear that. Particularly in the Oakland Fianna Fáil at the moment, and I'm not that big in Fianna Fáil, but at least that they're bringing this up to the leaders in Fianna Fáil, and they're like, hold on a second, something has to be done here, and I do appreciate that of the Oakland Fianna Fáil, that they actually are saying it to government ministers in Fianna Fáil that something needs to be approached there. And I do think it's fair, particularly young people. Again, young people, they need to get new phones and things like that, etc., etc., etc. And they're entitled to a few bob, or to go out for a night or something, to enjoy the life. Because again, the one thing I say about life nowadays, the last few weeks has taught me that we're only here on a holiday. We are only truly here on a holiday. We don't know what tomorrow can bring, and that we're only here for a short while. We might as well make the best of it. And that's what we should be doing. We shouldn't be having people going out and working for nothing, and getting very little in return. They should get something, a small thank you, a small bit of appreciation. It isn't much to ask. And again, I know, I even knew people, shops and businesses that had very little. They got very little income. But they went, and these are local people that have local small shops, small businesses. And they would bust their backside to make sure whoever was working for them, doing apprenticeship, or not an apprenticeship or work experience, would get a few bob or get something as a small thank you. And it's always them, it's the kind, generous, the small businesses that will help people out and give them a few bob, and rightly deserved. If you do the work, you deserve to get a few bob. And if you go out and you get up early in the morning, like I went in work experience a good few times and had to pay for taxis. I paid up to €500, and not like I give the shit, to be totally honest. I never went and bothered to tell them that I was getting a taxi. Over the time, again, this was over 2 years, so it was a lot of money. It was it was €10 in and €10 out, basically €10 in and €10 out, which was a lot of money. And if you add that up for every once a week, you have a fair lot of money. So it was near 500, and it was around 400 and something. But yeah, so basically a lot of money for 2 years. So it was once every week, but I didn't give a shit. But again, it's other people too. Like I couldn't give a shit. I was still doing what I was doing anyway, so I didn't care too much. And I was even there earlier than half of them. But anyway, what can you do? But no, it's not the point. I'm sure young people shouldn't have to poke that out of their own pocket. I'm not saying about taxis or things like that, but if they have to they have to get there by some means, they're not just going to walk out the front door and be teleported to the other side, to the place they need to go. I wish it would be. That'd be an excellent transport system. Eamon Ryan, take notes. If you're awake, you're probably not awake at this time, but you look at. I send an email, but you'll probably not get that anyway because you're sleeping anyway. But yeah, everything's on in rural Ireland nowadays. Everything's on to Eamon Ryan. I say to you, Eamon Ryan, I don't believe in this story at all. But yeah, what was I saying? But yeah, they should be paid. That's the simple story there. And I'm sure everybody will agree. It's not right, particularly when they're getting up early in the morning. They're doing the same work as everybody else there. They're entitled to a few bob. Thank you.